Is your Hummer overheating? Is that gauge slightly higher where it's supposed to be? Does it start overheating as soon as you turn on the AC? Does it start overheating as soon as you hit the highway? Chances are you have air in your system. If you replace your radiator, if you have a leak somewhere and the air is coming in, if you have a bad thermostat and you ended up swapping it out, or there's a leak or something in the system and you're getting air in there, it will overheat the vehicle. These Hummers are prone to overheating, and the main reason is because they have air in the system. And in today's video, I'm gonna show you exactly how to get the air out. The first thing that you wanna do is lift up the front end. As you can see, I'm using these to give it a couple more inches off the ground, but you want to have it sloped. I do have a sloped driveway, but I just added these to make the process quicker. If you're doing it on the street where it's completely flat, this process is going to take a very, very long time. I'm talking about maybe an hour or so. But if you lift it up, the highest point is going to be right here on top of the radiator. It is even higher than the excess tank on the side right there. Check it out. So what you want to do is get one of these bleeding funnels. I do have a link for it in the description box below. It is super cheap, but all you could do is put the adapter on, put the funnel on, add some coolant, and you're going to see it start bubbling up. So once this is done, you want to turn the heat on the vehicle as much as you possibly can. So check it out. All right, heat all the way up to 4 max. And then you see the gauge right here. This is exactly what I'm talking about. It is not like overheating. It is not going to like hot, but it is slightly higher than the center mark. So after a couple of minutes, after you have started overheating, just like this. So once I start revving it here in a second, this gauge will go back to the normal spot and we should see bubbles coming out from the front. I do not know if I'll be able to show you guys the bubbles, but here I'm gonna try to zoom it in real quick. And now I'm gonna hit the accelerator button. I'm gonna push it to like around 2.5, 3 RPM. And then you should see some bubbles, some air coming out of the system. All right, let me. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but it's like bubbling. Yeah, you just saw a couple of air bubbles. And now you can see the gauge has gone back down to normal. That means we got some bubbles out. You have to repeat this process a couple of times until this gauge does not move, until it doesn't end up in the middle or somewhere. You want it to be at this level, perfectly on the line. So after every maybe like 5-10 minutes, when it starts climbing back up, you push the RPMs between 2 and 3. And then you should see more bubbles come out of the radiator, and then the gauge should start coming back down again. Also, you might want to start switching from heat to AC. Make sure you turn the AC on as well to make sure to get every single bubble out. This process is super easy, but it is time consuming. It does take plenty of time. I'm talking about maybe 20 minutes all the way up to an hour, depending on how many air bubbles you have in your system. One other thing that I do want to mention, if you're bleeding your system for like 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and you still have air coming out of this funnel right here, chances are you have a bigger problem than air in the system. If you're bleeding it for 2-3 hours, there's a high chance you have a leak somewhere. The leak could be coming from a hose not being connected properly. It could be coming from a cracked radiator. A very, very tiny crack can cause air in the system. I'm talking about the crack can be so tiny, the radiator might not even leak. So definitely check for leaks. One other thing that I do want to mention, this radiator cap is anonymous for going bad and causing leaks. So I have seen a lot of people that have air in the system, and it is because their radiator cap is expired. These things, every time you swap out your radiator or you have any kind of issues with overheating, I highly recommend just getting the new radiator cap. That way you eliminate this problem automatically. So we're gonna continue to bleed it even more. You want to monitor it, like I said, every 5 to 10 minutes, rev it up, go from AC to heat, get even more air out, and then simply wait it out. This can take 20 minutes all the way up to an hour. So all you got to do is go back and forth until the temperature gauge is at the center. Nothing higher, nothing lower. Center is absolutely perfect, and then you should be done. You might have to repeat this process maybe once or twice. So after you get all the air out this time, you might want to drive it around for a day or two, see if the gauge goes up. If it goes up, throw it back up, lift it, and repeat the process, and then all the air should be out of your system, and you should not have any overheating issues whatsoever. Also, if your Hummer is overheating when you turn on the AC, you also have to check a couple of other issues. One of them being your condenser. If it is extremely dirty, take a hose, wash it off, get all the dust, and sometimes you have to remove these two screws, one right here and one right here, and then separate the radiator from the condenser. Also remove this little piece, and you should get about 2 to 3 inches of space in between these two. And a lot of times there's a ton of debris down there. I'm talking about at least 2 to 3 inches of leaves, bugs, all kind of stuff. So vacuum that up, clean it, wash it out with a hose, and that might fix your issue. Another thing that could be wrong in that scenario is this fan right here. There's like a silver giant plate that helps it rotate, so you might be able to swap that out as well. It is also cheap. It is like 30 bucks online. But first, start out by cleaning, checking that fan thing, but also make sure you bleed your system. If you have air in your system, your AC is going to be acting up anyway. So first thing, obviously, to bleed, then start checking everything else. So that is how you bleed it. Those are some extra tips. Also, guys, if you want some cheap car insurance, make sure to check out the link in the description box below. Use that comparison tool, get some offers, and see how much money you can potentially save. If this video helped you out, also, if you have a Hummer and you know any other tips when it comes to bleeding, drop those in the comment section below for future viewers. We all want to help each other out, especially Hummer owners. These big things require a lot of attention, and they have a lot of issues. So make sure to like, subscribe, comment. See you in the next video. Peace out.